Hi, I'm Gareth Spence and welcome to Tech Talk. In today's show, I'm joined by authors and analysts Daryl Inniss and Roy Rubenstein. Gentlemen, we last spoke a few months ago at ECOC. We're now in San Diego at OFC. What are some of the hot topics you're hearing on the show floor?
In a nutshell, it's all to do with AI, and I know we said that at ECOC, but there's much more substance to what's being discussed at this show with regard to AI.
And recognize it's an optical show, so one of the big questions is where does optics play in this whole AI infrastructure evolution?
Well, you mentioned there, where does it play in infrastructure? In the mainstream media, AI is dominated by the giants like Google and OpenAI and NVIDIA. Is that starting to change? Are people starting to look at the enabling networks underneath?
They are looking at the enabled networks underneath, or even how to get into the suppliers, and NVIDIA, of course, is one of the suppliers. But the thing that's interesting, it's coming right from the bottom of the infrastructure. So it's such a complex emerging marketplace that it's challenging to know how to enter, with who to partner, how to get up to eventually be led and be used in a hyperscaler or an NVIDIA.
And the real challenge is associated with developing the ecosystem that's going to support these massive deployments. And so we're talking about volumes that are much larger than what has typically been used for data centers or for telecommunications. And so now we have a very different environment that the market is trying to support.
And how fast is that market evolving?
It depends where you look at. One of the things to remember about optical componentry and optical networking, that it does take time to be deployed. But what people are realizing is, and recognizing, this is an opportunity like no other. This is an unprecedented period we're about to enter. And you've got to get your technology ready now for what will likely be deployed in years to come. And again, it's this complex navigating who to partner with. You could talk to the right companies, but it's the ultimate decision is with the end users, the deployers of this technology. So it's all going to take time, but they have to be active now with roadmaps, relevant roadmaps now. This is the challenge.
And the challenge has a lot to do with the timing, because what's going to be deployed now is really going to be based on copper for the most part. And there are optics that's part of it, but it's a copper-driven architectures that are being developed for now. But 3-5 years, that's going to be completely different because we already recognize the limitations of copper, in which case, which of these optical solutions, right? Because there are multiple ways to do similar things. And so there's a lot of debate.
This is why it's such a complicated period.
Speaking of timing though, you last made the headlines a few years ago, I think it was, with your first joint book on silicon photonics, which was a huge topic at that time. AI is a huge topic now. Is this going to be the sequel?
Absolutely. There's no question about it. I can take the silicon photonics book. It's very interesting. And the structure of that book is very similar to what's needed to explain what's happening in the marketplace now to support artificial intelligence. So it's not just about building a computer or a data center, but there are elements of this that it's also about, connecting buildings to buildings or cities to cities or continents to continents. So I see a lot of similarity.
And if I can add to what Daryl said, in a way what we were looking at with silicon photonics was optics and semiconductors coming together. Now the technology is distinct, it's not as simple. But what we're witnessing now is how optics for the next decade or two is going to play alongside semiconductors, and in particular the big computing chips. And this is different. So the silicon photonics is a key technology, but it's only part of a much bigger story. And this is something that can be explored for years to come. And making sense of it now with this very early stage uncertainty, this is what all the people in this conference are grappling with, and will be grappling with in 6 months' time when we talk at ECOC, all being well, or a year's time, or even 2-3 years' time. So this is a topic that isn't going to go away, and it's going to evolve. And there's so much to understand, and everyone's grappling with this.
And one of the challenges is answering the question, is this a bubble? All right, and one of our colleagues.
Your take is.
Well, one of our colleagues, I like his argument, right? He says, John Lively, he says that, hey, you know, it may be a financial bubble, a funding bubble, but not necessarily from a technology evolution point. That's not.
I don't think it is a bubble. I think this is something. We are at the start of something which is going to be profound for this industry and going to be profound for computing going forward. This is different.
And should we be ready to see you guys at a book signing event at OFC 25? Are you going to put that in cement now?
Over to you.
Over to Roy.
Okay, stay tuned.
Yes, we said 2 years. We're about 3 months, 4 months into this. We haven't written a whole lot. We've talked a lot, but we haven't written a lot.
Which basically means we've yet to start writing.
Okay, cool. Gentlemen, fantastic.
Thank
Good
you.
talk.
Thank you, Gareth.
See you again soon.
Thank you.